But maybe Veronica, it's worth just going into final last comments. Anyone? Because we haven't got any more to cover. It's just, I guess, final reflections and what do people think? There's another if people want to chip in some of their there's a new Slido. So what are your reflections? What are your uh, summations? Please tap away or stick your hand up and chip in. Or final questions or criticisms, backing, whatever.
Yeah, I like criticisms actually. Is there anything we've covered that anybody violently disagrees with or just think is underbaked?
I don't think we covered the subject enough to do it justice. The concept of it really is you have multiple support functions at the moment and joining them up, that they all speak the same language, they're using the same information, the same data standards. And when you get that in place, whether you're using AI or not, and to me, AI is just like being able to hire an extra 1,000 clerks and clever people to do the work for you. Um, it's understanding that you've got a lot of this functionality in your organization at the moment. You just haven't joined it up, you haven't managed it coherently, and you haven't managed it effectively. You can
But
edit that
like
bit out of the
anything,
video, David.
but like Chris says, there's appetite, scale of ambition versus appetite. I think you can have as much ambition as you like. Um, but you adapt that to the appetite there is, and if you can show the way, you can take first steps, and then hopefully build ambition, build appetite. Um,
But you need capability to support all that. And I think the
yeah, you do.
organizations are very slow or very weak in identifying the capability and the ability of the organization as a broad spectrum to be able to cover that. And sometimes their ambitions are, as you say, ambition is far outweighs the appetite. Sometimes the other way around, actually. You
Now,
know,
that might change over time, though, as you
yes.
make wins. But this is the thing about big. This is why it's broken down into key concepts, principles, and components. The components describe the building blocks. What is it you might need to build for
No, I
for
agree.
your
Yeah.
limited bit of this, or some massive great thing that you eventually arrive at? But
I think
it's
this
built on
particular,
the
sorry, go on, Karen, David.
No, it's only just it's only built on the premise that at this moment, evidentially, our organizations aren't very good at strategy delivery, and there seems to be a gap between strategy and delivery. So can we offer a the capability and vision to help improve that situation? This is
Yeah, I
it.
think we
This
can.
is
I
the
think we
this
need
is the proposition.
to, we've had a good start here, and I think it would help to have another deeper session around this particular topic. I think this is the key. This is critical, really, when you think about it. It's delivering the strategy you have, because if you don't, you're dead, basically. Or delivering it correctly as well, making sure you get what you need to deliver correctly. And that's where a lot of organizations fail. That's why a lot of initiatives fail and they waste a lot of money. They fail because they wasted money on things that weren't going to work. Anyway, so
Yeah.
Alex, you've got a hand up.
I just want to say that in terms of implementation, appetite, ambition to do this, you're going to need a huge block right at the top wanting to do this. And I
yeah.
think for political turf reasons, there will be pushback. And because you're surfacing data and information using the same metrics, in some organizations, this would be senior directors being turkeys voting for Christmas, because there will now be much better visibility of what's going on operationally, how effective, how efficient people are. So I can see two reasons why senior governing bodies would push back against this at the moment. I'm just
Well,
cynical.
according to not Philip, according to Tim Leach, who's just written a book on uh, mission critical governance, there's a little bit of a syndrome that exists called what do you call it? Don't ask, don't tell syndrome. So people aren't necessarily asking the right questions, and people aren't necessarily looking to provide information. So he's absolutely convinced of this from lots of research that this appetite thing is a real barrier.
Mm.
So that do organizations want to improve their connection from strategy to delivery? And if so, do they think they can do that via the means they have already, or are they willing to consider there might be some structural things that need to be put in place to enable it to happen?
Funny that Tim Leach thing. I think Phil might have had an answer to that one, because that's what he's trying to point out is the fact that the problem is getting the right information to the right people in the right way, but they're also asking the right questions in the first place. And I think a lot of them either don't want to or don't know what to ask, you know. And sometimes they're avoiding it because they don't want the accountability.
Well, it's like that whole risk thing. So they were saying one of his things is that boards aren't informed on mission critical risk. They're informed on risk that has come up through the operation. So
Yes.
if boards are asked what are the mission critical risks against your mission critical objectives, firstly, there might not be clarity on what the mission critical objectives are, and secondly, there's don't ask, don't tell syndrome about the mission critical risk.
Well, there's that three-line defense thing that's supposed to at least put some sort of structure in place, you know. But that's a theory rather than a function, I guess.
Well,
Supposed to.
three lines of defense also has an agenda, though, right? And by definition, their appetites may very well be different than those of the organisation.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing around psychology and stuff that we don't have time to get into. So we are doing leadership next time. We are quarter past. Sorry, David, but I think it's time that we bring this to end, because we always overrun because there is so much to talk about. So I'm glad everybody found this useful. And as I suggested at the start, it sounds like an unpromising topic, but it's not. It's so vital to supporting what we want to do in terms of closing the strategy execution gap. There's a reason it sits in components, though, right? It is one component that is required amongst many. As I said, next time, the 3rd of August, we're just going to we're calling it social, but it's an Ask Us Anything question. So anything you wanted to know about BIG that you don't already know, if you want to carry on this conversation, if you want to revert to some of our previous topics around accountability or prioritization, or talk more about AI, anything goes. September, as I said, leadership, and we've only got one more component after that. Just a little reminder that you can either donate to our work or buy BIG. We are not for profit. We are very firmly not for profit. And I think that's us, isn't it, David? Any other comments?
Thank you.
No, that's it. Yeah. So we'll get we'll share the recording. I'll chop it up and get rid of the fluff, and I'll try and turn the transcript into something which summarizes the sentiment, gets the point of agreement, pulls out some questions and concerns, and we'll try and share that. So it's not just for people to consume; it's for people to have a review of and push back on and help me get it so that it's a good output from this session.
Yeah, and ever we've got one eye on the rewrite, the big book rewrite, which is coming one day. So any comments on directions for that, always welcome. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it all.
Thank
We'll
you
see
too.
you next time.
Thanks, guys. Buy a mug.